Hi, thanks for joining me. I want to take a moment and talk to you about brushes. I want to show you how I take care of mine, how I clean them, how I store them, and a few little tips about how you get maximum performance out of them. I hope you find this helpful. Okay, the first thing I want to do is show you how I store my brushes. What I'll do is take my brushes, I rinse them off in water. I always have a towel handy. I wipe the brushes off. And what I've done is I've taken a plastic container. It doesn't matter what size you use, whatever works best for you. I've taken a plastic container like this that I can seal off the air from it. I'll get a bunch of lids from different kinds of containers. The purpose of this is real simple. We're going to take our brushes that are wet on the end. I wipe them out. I don't want them dripping wet, but I'll wipe them off. But they're wet. Okay. I'll take these brushes after they're cleaned, and I'll very simply put them in this container. Close the container up. You're sealing the air off, and those brushes won't dry. And I use them on a daily basis, so for me it's especially good. Just come down, I open them up. Brushes are still wet. When they dry out, they get hard, and then you have problems. You got to clean them, soften them up again, and it's so much nicer when I can take this brush out of here. It's still wet, just like I put it away, and this will stay for a long time. I can put a brush in there for a year, and it'll just stay wet. The reason for this is very simple. The little lids here will keep the brushes from laying in the actual bottom of the container. Because with the water, eventually, when you've got a lot of brushes, I mean, everyone knows I've got brushes. When you've got a lot of brushes, they'll lay in the bottom, and then the water will build up, and you don't want them to be sitting in the water. It'll ruin the brushes. So you want them elevated so they're not sitting in the water, and that's what these will do. These containers keep the brush from laying completely down, but yet they'll still stay wet. If you don't use the brushes for a while and you think they're starting to dry out, because eventually even the air in the container will work them out, little spray bottle, just hit them with put a little water spray in there. That'll keep moisture in there. Very important, because that way you can use the brushes forever. You can literally work them to death. You can take any kind of plastic container that works. If you've got long, thin brushes, these things are available anywhere. They're very, very inexpensive. And I've done that with my brushes for years. And I've got brushes that are so old, the paint is missing from the handles. And they're still in good shape. Okay, now the next thing I want to talk to you about, when the time happens when you leave the brush out, you forget to put it into the container to hang on to it and keep it in good shape. Let's say it lays out, it gets all dried, and acrylic paint is an extremely resilient material. When the brush has paint on it, it dries out. I don't know if I have one here because I clean them all. But if you get one, they'll get rock hard. The ends will be just rock hard. And you'll take water, soap water, do whatever you want to do with it. You can't seem to break that loose and get that brush to the point where it's very soft like it was when it was new. All right. Believe it or not, I have a product that I use. Probably the best brush cleaner, no, without a doubt, the best brush cleaner I've ever used. Okay, you can save a lot of your old brushes that are all dried on. This will work for any kind of brush. It's made by Easy Air, just acrylic brush cleaner. You can look up Easy Air on the internet. You can purchase it from them. All the art supply most of the art supply stores carry the product. This stuff is incredible. I'm telling you, I've saved more brushes with them. I do mix it a little bit heavier than you're supposed to, but it works. I can show you brushes that I've been used for so long. And you look at the bristles are still soft on them. It's hard to believe. I mean, I've literally worn the bristles down on some of these brushes. I've used them so much, and they still have soft. And these are brushes that have been rejuvenated by using this. You just dump it in water, mix it a little richer than they require because it works a lot faster. put it in there, let it sit for a day or two, you take it out, rinse it off with warm water, little soap. The brush is incredible. It works great. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even think there was such a product, but there is, and I use it, and if you try it out, you'll save yourself a lot of brushes. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about is when you get these brushes, any whatever they are, they start getting a little stiff, and it happens. You're using them all the time, they're wet, they're constantly being inundated with paint and so on. If you want to get these bristles a little bit softer, I do it with a lot of brushes, dip them in fabric softener. A little bit of fabric softener, you put them in there, you wash them off in fabric softener, you might want to let them sit in there half an hour or so. Just like in your clothes, those bristles become as soft could be. Okay, now here's another thing I want to talk to you about. I have a clear that I apply on my paintings when they're done. I apply it with a brush, dip, paint it on, close the container up. Now what do you do with the brush? I have to go wash it out. This brush will hold a lot of material. Save yourself a lot of grief, a lot of aggravation, a lot of time washing a brush because it takes a while to get one completely clean. What I'll do is I'll take that brush. Here's some little plastic bags you can purchase anywhere. Get them at your pet store. I take the brush, I put it inside the bag. I take a rubber band, slap it around. Now what I've done is I've completely eliminated any air from contacting that brush. And believe it or not, that brush will stay wet in this bag for years. It's hard to believe, but for years. You'll take it out, use it, use it, use it. This actually happens to be a brand new one. The last one I just finally threw away, which was, I believe, 4 or 5 years old. Okay, there you have it. I showed you how I store my brushes, how I clean them, how I take care of them. I hope there's something in this that would help you out. Thanks for watching, and until next time, enjoy.